Rajiv, I come to you again. In the joint statement, President affirmed his commitment to enhancing India's voice and vote in the international financial institutions and ensuring that resources are made available. Can you enlighten us? What do you make of this?
Yeah, this is the very long-standing issue of India getting a higher quota in the Bretton Woods Institute, the IMF and the World Bank, etc., and then as a result of that, getting a bigger vote there. So it's called the vote and voice issue. And I would, if I was Prime Minister Modi or his advisors, I would say thank you, but no thank you, because we don't really need it. We will get this higher vote and voice as and when we deserve, and as and when we have earned it. And this is the same thing about, really to a certain extent, even about the UN Security Council membership. And I'm very clear in my mind, at least, that the advice given by Deng Xiaoping to his own countrymen in 1982, which was to keep your eyes down, dim your lights, focus laser-like on the domestic economy, and then once you've done this, you will earn the respect of the global community. Don't go around trying to punch above your weight, and because then you're just not credible. And I think in their sort of, I think you said, or Mr. Dua said, that we are third in line. But we are third in line a very long shot. We are a $2 trillion economy. The next one above us, China, is a $9.5 trillion economy. And the US is a $17 trillion economy. So, so the fact is that let's not delude ourselves. And I think to that extent, and I know that Prime Minister Modi is a man with a huge sense of realpolitik. And realpolitik must sort of compel us to expect or to behave in a manner that we are the beneficiaries of this relationship. And with a little bit, it's nice to have a panel which can disagree with General Singh. General Singh, yes, of course, they have the highest and the best technologies, etc., etc. But the fact is that we would have to, in some sense, display our ability to absorb and also our ability to work with these technologies. And I think the first thing that we need to do, therefore, is to sign those 4 agreements. The logistics support agreement and the conventional, what is that called? The SISMOA, the sort of and there are 2 others, but these are the 2 critical ones. We've not yet been able to do this. So the fact is that to try and constantly, in some sense, portray or project that you are the sort of, you are the much sought after in the world, which everybody, Soviets, Russians, US are all running after us. After all, I think there's a point to which this must end. And we must therefore begin to show ourselves to be eager to receive what we have done. And I think here, let me just sort of bring one more aspect which I had wanted to bring in, which is this, and I think Ambassador Shankar brought it up, which is, our IP regime and the huge battle that we have with our, big pharma there. There is a company called Gilead, which has done a completely new model of, licensing, with its own pharma products. Licensed 7 Indian companies to, produce the latest frontline hepatitis C, drug. What we have gone and done is to deny the patent. So I think these are the sort of steps. I think it's always nice to sometimes look within our own, inwards to see what we can do to create a relationship. Because I must say, as we Indians know all the time, ishq is not one way. ek tarfa nahi hota hai. Thank you.